be recorded. And we already did, sorry. So to share your screen, you have to click on screen sharing, which is the button I showed you before, and then you have to click on desktop and look for the content you want to share. So some rules is that during the meeting, when the participants are not speaking, make sure that your microphone and the camera is also off, because it takes a lot of band, and sometimes we can have issues and connection issues because of that. Today we're not so many, so it should be okay. We invite you to turn your microphone and camera on when speaking or asking a question. Like I mentioned before, you can use the chat for questions or comments. The moderator will address them. And as mentioned just before, the session will be recorded, and the recording along with the presentation will be available on the ARIADNA website after the session. I will now give the floor to Marty Geoffrey. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, sorry. And I wish, okay, and I wish you a very good session.
Thank you, Sylvia. Good morning to everyone. Welcome to the session, and thanks for being with us. At this stage, probably you are aware of the scope of ARIADNA project. We are trying to raise awareness and understand how satellite navigation, and in particular Galileo European system, can help urban mobility planning and operations. We've produced from the project white paper, trying to collect the requirements and experiences that you all brought. But we thought that it would be a very good idea to share with you the conclusions, so you have from first hand what were our learnings, that we can discuss it with practical experiences from some of you. And then we'll have some room for discussion altogether, not only the speakers, but all the participants in this workshop. So first of all, I will quickly introduce the agenda, and then I will give the floor to the first presentation. So basically, we'll have first half an hour where we'll present the main insights from the white paper by Sergi Paniagua from Pildo. Good morning, Sergi.
Good morning. Thanks, Martin.
And then we'll have three experiences. Actually, Llorenç Marcos had to cancel this morning for an urgent issue. So we'll have three practical experiences from TMB and GMB. From TMB, we'll have Diego Dominguez, who is the head of bus operation systems at TMB. Hello, Diego.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. He will be together with the supplier for the technology, which is GMB. We have Alberto Gentil, head of bus and tram division at GMB. Good morning, Alberto.
Hi, good morning.
Morning. And Jaime Sanz, project manager and software developer at the ITS department at GMB. Good morning, Jaime.
Good morning.
Then we'll have the experience from Valencia, EMT Valencia, the public bus operator, Luis Roda, head of projects and coordination. Hello, Luis. Good morning.
Hi, Martin. Good morning. Hello to all of you.
Perfect. And then last experience, Clement Gauthier, project manager at the passenger department, passenger railway stations at International Union of Railways. Good morning, Clement.
Good morning, everybody.
Perfect. So then after this practical experience, we'll have some time for discussion, feedback, and further interaction. So now I give the floor to Sergi Paniagua from Pildo Labs that will introduce us the white paper.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Martin. Give me just a few seconds to share my screen. Okay. You can all see it and hear me well?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. Thanks.
Yep.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. This is a session we've been waiting to do since we got approved this document, this deliverable by the European Space Agency, the organization that's funding this project. And we're doing it today in exclusive for the Space4Cities Forum members and some fortunate plus ones, some invited organizations. Some of you have even made contributions to this document, so we're very excited to show you the final result. I'm presenting myself very briefly. I'm Sergi Paniagua, and I'm a project manager for Labs for the Intelligent Transport Solutions Department. And Labs is a small engineering company specialized in geopositioning technology for the aeronautics sector. Like Mati said, today I'm going to be presenting the white paper. This is a document that we've done on EGNSS technology in urban mobility services and public transport. And the main goals of this document were first to educate about Galileo, so to educate different stakeholders which are relevant in the mobility sector, like transport authorities, cities, mobility providers, public transport operators, to educate them about what Galileo is, when it was launched, why it's important to Europe, etc. In second place, to illustrate the benefits of using Galileo, so EGNSS, a European Global Navigation Satellite System. And we're going to do today this through looking at the different applications that geolocation has in a specific service today, as an example, bus service. And we're also going to be looking at real cases of experiences from operators using Galileo. And in the third place, we didn't just want to show the benefits of Galileo, but we also wanted to take the chance in this document to guide all these relevant stakeholders within the mobility sector, to guide them through how to exploit those benefits, so how to really benefit from Galileo. For this document, we carried out different one-on-one interviews with mobility providers and with cities, and also with some positioning experts. And we also carried out desk research. And the audience we had in mind from the beginning was an audience that didn't have previous knowledge in geopositioning or satellite technology. So we wanted this document to not be too technical and to be accessible for everyone, and especially targeted at cities, public administrations, and mobility providers. Just to remind you, the white paper is available on our website. We've recently created a nicer looking version, and we're going to send it to you so that you have it. But you can always go to our website and download it if you don't have it handy. All right, so for my presentation, I'm going to follow actually the same structure that we followed for the document. So first, I'm going to briefly introduce what Galileo is. Then I'm going to show you the benefits and different applications, and then briefly explain how to exploit the benefits that it can provide. So let's go with a brief explanation about Galileo. Galileo is the European Global Navigation Satellite System. This means that it's available worldwide. It's not a satellite system that's just exclusive for Europe. And it also means that it's interoperable with other constellations, like the American constellations, GPS, the Russian, Chinese constellation, etc. It was launched in 2016 and today is fully operational. And it offers a different range of
Yes,
rest of the attendants?
Yes, Clement.
Can you hear anything? No.
No, we lost Sergi, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay, I was worried. Okay.
Let's see. I'll try to chat with him. he left now?
Yeah, I think.
Let's see if he can recover in a few minutes, otherwise we'll shift to the next speakers. Unfortunately, it's not the ideal. Sorry for that. Oh, okay, Clement. Okay, let's wait for 2 more minutes. Okay, so seems that Sergi is not able to restore the connection. So I would suggest it's not the logic order for today, but I would suggest not to stack here and start with the presentations from TMB and GMB. Would you be ready to catch up?
Okay, yes, it's possible.
Thank you, Diego.
Okay.
Thank you.
I share my screen. Okay, do you see my screen?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay.
Yes.
Then we prepare a little presentation for explain our experience with Galileo navigation systems and the other Galileo systems in a recently project that we have made with GNB, that is our partner and provider of this type of solutions here in Barcelona. Then we explain quickly the context of our project or of our experience in navigation solutions, our new position model and what suppose for us, and the results that we obtain in the street and in the garage, in the depot, with this new model, localization model. Beginning for the context, transport metropolitans of the Barcelona have more than 1,000 buses. We made a lot of minutes of service every day and a huge of kilometers every day. Then the buses of our company are located in order to be able mainly know where they are geographically located, being able to regulate the service, advance or delayed with the schedulers, and informing the passengers in real time for the forecast of time arrival to the stops. And now we are being able to share the location of the buses in the APPs, for example. And the last, having data to analyze the service performance. And another trend that is interesting is Barcelona. It's a densely populated city, not very large but very dense. And then demands that we have narrow streets and tall buildings, and this is not optimum for the satellite position systems. Right? We name this the urban canyons. We can show here this picture, right? Because this like a canyon, but in the city. The new position model between 2016 and 2018, we relieved our fleet location system by introducing a new position model in the onboard systems. The old position model was from 28 and only used the GPS navigation system and only with 7 or 8 satellites simultaneously. The new model, the new position model that is specifically is the Ublox Neo M8IL. We have here the reference. Have a lot of features that improve the location. The first is that it not only use a GPS system that is compliant with the global navigation systems like Galileo. This is for our case today, GLONASS, and Beidou and other systems, but that are not global systems. Also, this model has the capacity to use the 3 concurrent navigation systems. This is important because some models are compliant with different navigation systems, but not have the possibility to run with concurrent with different navigation systems, and have the possibility to hear more than 70 satellites simultaneous from the different navigation systems. Other feature is the AGPS, the assisted GPS, that is an improvement that you can download in online that satellite data, and the time to first fix is better. And for us, with the multi-constellation, the future that changes the location for us is the direct reckoning navigation without satellites. This is possible because this model have inside sensors, 3D accelerometer, 3D gyroscope, well-tick, and the rear signal. And we have here a video from Ublox that explain what it means. Let me show you. Can I share my audio?
Ublox, the global leader in positioning and cellular semiconductors for the automotive, industrial, and consumer markets, introduces 3D automotive dead reckoning, the ultimate technology for urban navigation. Satellite navigation works well when global positioning satellites are within line of sight, but the sky is often obstructed by buildings, tunnels, and overpasses that degrade accuracy. Navigation may become unreliable or even fail. For emergency services, public transport, and logistics companies, the loss of positional overview can be serious. Ublox eliminates the problem by integrating three-dimensional automotive dead reckoning, or 3D ADR, into its satellite receiver chip technology. Based on vehicle odometer, gyroscope, and accelerometer readings, the Ublox chip calculates both vertical and horizontal vehicle movement, especially important when ascending or descending inside tunnels and parkhouses. This demonstration shows the accuracy of a 3D ADR-based navigation system. No satellites are visible as the vehicle is driven throughout the 5-story parking garage. Since algorithm errors are cumulative, the demonstration shows the system's outstanding accuracy. Upon exiting, the vehicle position is accurate to within 2 meters.
Please turn left in 100 meters and then immediately turn right.
With Ublox 3D ADR, road vehicle navigation reaches its highest level of performance through deep urban canyons, in tunnels or parkhouses, along multi-level highways. A new dimension in navigation, the Ublox satellite chip with 3D ADR. Find out more at Ublox.
Okay. We don't have stocks from Ublox, but it's a good video to understand the recording. Then the next is the results that we obtain with this new module position, and we improve the accuracy street location from having a stable position with 20 or 60 meters of error. You can see this picture. This is the old GPS model. It's very unstable, the position, and with a huge error for location in the street. And to having a stable position, okay, this is the stable position, and with 0 or 5 meters of error. In addition, we got location in tunnels. In this picture, you can see the purple line. This is a tunnel, underground, under streets, and the yellow line is outside. The purple is inside the tunnel. And also we have a good results in the garage, in the location in the garage. Previously, with the old GPS model, you can see this picture, and normally in the parking that had the different floors, we haven't location or errors from more than 100 meters, or we have the star effect. The star effect is when the vehicle is parked. We have this effect of the location, and this is not accuracy. And now we have precise location in outdoors of the depot or the garage, and indoors. We can see this in this image, in this picture. And this is also from us. But this is all.
Thank you, Diego. I don't know if we should expect GMV to provide additional contributions, or we can move to the next speaker. Jaime, Alberto, are you presenting some additional information?
Well, I think that Diego has explained all very well, and I don't know how can add something.
Perfect, thank you. So before moving to next speaker, if some of you has any question for Diego, we'll have time later for discussion. But yeah. please.
There was a request from Sergio asking to share the link to the video in the chat.
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you. And I have another question, which is about the let's say the project itself is not a pilot, right? So it's a real change you have done.
Yes,
within
it's
your company.
all buses. It's not a pilot. It's in all buses. Yes.
Okay.
We have.
Please
yes.
go ahead. Sorry.
No, we start with 20 buses in 2016, and we have a very good results, and we extend the solution to all the fleet. In 2018, all the buses have this solution.
Okay.
If I may ask, Diego, can you give us some hints on how the cost of this system compared to the legacy one? It's significantly more costly, or?
Pues it really is. It's very cheap because the GPS models. If you go to Ublox website or other, you have the standard or the cheaper models that we can cost 5 euros, 10 euros, 20 euros. And this type of models years ago are very expensive because they are only in aeronautics for planes. And these types of models would cost 3,000 or 6,000 euros. Now the cost approximately is that 100 euro approximately.
80 euros approximately.
Per bus?
And how does it compare
Yes,
to the legacy GPS?
Only the navigation module.
Yes.
You need a onboard system,
Onboard computer, yes.
a process unit for make your algorithm, but their models are very completely because make all the data and give you a position calculated, and it's very functionally. And the cost is, yes, 80 euros approximately for 1,000.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Now this module that we share you is older because they pass 3-4 years. Now I think that, for example, Ublox have new modules.
Perfect. We have another question from Clement. Clement,
Yes.
go ahead.
Good morning, Diego. With this new technology, what did you gain concretely? Of course, it's more precise on the map, so you can know directly where is your bus. But how did you reuse this new data? Did you inform it was for the better information addressed to passengers, or it was for you driver, for your company? How did you use this new information, basically?
Yeah.
And for what?
Yes, I don't share it in this presentation, but we have an index and that is called is internally in TMB localización útil. I don't say the traduction is self-localization. And this index improves with this model from 90% of the time in service and near the 98% from the time of service. And the results are that we have a better regulation of our service, right? This within giving indications for the drivers to go advance or stop. Better information for the passengers because the time forecast that we shared with GTFS real time in Google Maps, in Moveit, in our TMB app or in the stops is better, and we improve a lot in the garage location, because now we have garages that have 400 or 300 buses, and they are very large, and this is difficult some days to find a bus. Then with this we can search in the smartphone where is the bus, and the precision is and the accuracy is good for our internal uses.
Okay, thanks.
Perfect. We'll have some more time later on for further questions. So now we would move to Luis Roda from EMT Valencia. Luis, are you ready?
Yeah, I think so. Okay, Martin,
Thank
you for the invitation for this webinar. I think that it's a fantastic place just to learn each other. And as usual, I will try to be the bad guy of the group, just trying to point some things that maybe we can discuss later. Okay, I'm going to share my presentation. I'm doing from a tablet, so I beg your pardon if it's not working fine. I will try it. Please tell me if you see it.
Not yet.
Not yet. I'm gonna try.
No. Can do myself otherwise, eh?
Yeah. It's not this one, sorry. Marty, I will really appreciate if you can do it for me, because I am doing it in a tablet in a depot, and for sure it's not working fine.
Perfect, I'll do it. 1 minute. Okay. You should be seeing it now. Can everyone see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, the one that isn't able to see it right now is just me. But anyway, I will. Just a moment. I don't know if I can stop this, but all right. I will try to do it without seeing anything. Okay. First of all, what I would like to do is just a brief presentation about TMB Valencia. I will try to make a summary and some findings about the white paper about the Galileo satellite system. And one thing that is quite important for me, that is what we are expecting as a public transport operator about the European global satellite system. After that, maybe I will tell you some conclusions. All right. The first thing that I will tell you is that TMB Valencia, it is the public transport operator in Valencia. Mainly, we have almost 500 buses. We are a company with 1,800 employees. And just 2 years ago, we carried almost 100 million passengers. Okay. Summary and findings about Galileo global satellite system. What we found in this white paper is that we are told that Galileo is a real-time, online, better signal accuracy global satellite system. That's fine, but maybe we have to discuss something about the real-time and online that maybe is not so necessary for a public transport operator. Also, another thing that is quite important to know is that, according to experts, the real value and one thing that differentiates Galileo from another system is just the authentication of the satellite signal. That's, for me, really important, to tell you the truth. And also, what is also important to know is that from the global satellite system and using Internet of the Things, we can make a lot of things related with human mobility. Okay, I am going to tell you the secret about public mobility. It's just the trust in our services. If we are able to fulfill the services that is expected from us, if people trust our mobility services, we are going to succeed. If not, it will be a complete disaster. I am going to tell you why. If someone is working early in the morning, at 4 in the morning, and wants to go to the center of the city, he wants to trust everything that we are doing. And one important thing is just information. As I told you before, there are a lot of things that we can do as Internet of the Things, global satellite system application for urban mobility, and as you can see, alternate information, we can use it with blockchain, with mobility as a service. We can use a lot of different global satellite systems. We are using Internet of Things, and it's not the case, but as you can see, maybe in the future, this is going to be the Google's world domination. But I don't believe in that, to tell you the truth. Okay, let's go ahead. What we want as public transport operator, what we are looking for, something that makes Galileo different or give us a real added value. Okay, what we want? Oh, what we want is just a fleet management system, sharing information with our users, a service quality control, impact on urban environment measurement, and maintenance of the fleet. And as I told you before, to be a trusted service, a trusted information. Okay, what we know from the white paper? All right, from the white paper, we are know that the Galileo system, one of the best characteristics is availability. But to tell you the truth, still we have some doubts. Another one is accuracy. I am going to tell you that maybe it's a mistake because for us, it's not the real issue. And I will explain you later why. Another thing is continuity. But to tell you the truth, we don't know if the availability or the continuity of the Galileo system is still a thing that we can trust. Of course, we are talking about integrity, time to feast, and the most different and the real added value of this global satellite system is robustness to spoofing and jamming and authentication. I am going to tell you why we have some concerns about the Galileo system that is related with availability, continuity. Maybe we are looking for accuracy and it's not really necessary. And what we would really like is the robustness and authentication of the signal that is coming from Galileo. Okay, next one. Okay, the real world. I am going to tell you something that is going to surprise you. Maybe information that coming from a public transport operator is not real time, and maybe it's not online. I am going to tell you something that is surprising for you. Right now, there is a lot of data coming from our buses, a lot of data coming from our ticketing systems, a lot of data coming from our bus stops that we are sending to our servers. As you can see, all this information, next slide, is sent to our servers every 20 seconds, or the data is sent on event. That means that only when a bus is arriving to a bus stop or leaving a bus stop, we send data. We also send data in emergency every 5 seconds. That means that that's quite important thing about accuracy, is that we are talking about buses that are moving. And that's quite important to know. And we know the data and we know the position every 20 seconds, not on online system. We have to tell you something that is important to know. The size of the bus. A bus is a 12 meters to 18 meters vehicle. Also, I have to tell you that we have to consider the size of the bus stop is from 4 meters to 50 meters. We also have to consider that the bus is moving and there are traffic lights, traffic jams, delays, congestions, breakdowns, And also, I have to tell you that communications and server responses time to calculate data to info, maybe to 1 to 10 seconds. Okay, we have been told in the last presentation that the TMB results is that the accuracy of the position of the bus online is to 2 to 5 meters. I agree with that. Okay, with this system, it's possible. But that is an information that is already 30 seconds old. I don't know if you understand what I mean. That means that if you start to zoom, all right, if the commercial speed of the bus is 15 kilometers per hour, that's 4.2 meters per second. If you multiply that for a media of 20 seconds, that's 85 meters. If you add 85 meters plus the length of a vehicle, plus the length of a bus stop, plus the new accuracy of the European global satellite system, that's not 2 to 5 meters. That's almost 150 meters. Why? Because the data that we are receiving in our service that we are translating into info is 30 seconds old. So maybe might sound a little bit strange, but accuracy for a bus operator is not really the issue. Okay, let's go for another thing that may be interesting to know. Okay, another thing is a dynamic element that it is the bus, but also a quite important things that we should consider is just the static elements. When we are talking about the static elements, we are talking about the bus stops and the depots. But also, once again, we have a problem relating with accuracy. First of all, there are a lot of different geographical info systems. There are HIS coming from the municipality. There is a HIS coming from the planning department. The AutoCAD from time to time is handmade. Also, the maps that are used in our marketing department are different because they want colorful, nice, rounded maps. And also, the maps that we are using in the fleet management system are just abrupt, sharp, and what we are trying is to optimize the use of that fleet management system. What we have here, once again, is a problem related with accuracy, what I call the big dot problem. Okay, next slide. I am going to tell you something that is quite important. And you can see in the left screen, you can see a bus in the middle of the city. We don't know really much about that bus. If you see the screen on the right side, we can see exactly the same bus on the depot, but we still don't have enough information. Maybe it's enough right now, but maybe in the future, this is going to change. The accuracy of the Galileo system, it will be a must, and I'm going to tell you why. Next slide. Okay. What's the problem that we can have in the future? Electromobility. Right now, we have depots that are near the city that are overcrowded. But we are going to use within 5 years is just electric buses. Surprisingly, we are not going to have enough space. With electromobility, we need from 10 to 15% more space in our depots. And we have to find solutions just to get that extra space. How we can do it? Okay, I can tell you that our buses are parked in a 3.5 meters wide parking areas, and we have to reduce it or we have to optimize that space. One important thing that can be important is to know exactly if a parking slot is empty or not. As I told you before, with 3.5 meters wide parking slot, the GPS American system is not enough to know if we have an empty slot or not. Maybe with the European Galileo system, the extra space that we are needing just playing with the empty slot is possible to get. That's something. That's one thing that for the future, I think it will be quite interesting to be just a useful thing that to be in our depots to be considered to get extra space. And also, what I'm going to tell you is that one thing that it will be quite interesting. The use of the Galileo system is an important fact that we are having right now in the slide about the onboard system that we are having in our buses. This is also quite important thing that we are having problems all the time, and is the synchronizing of the onboard equipment. Okay, as you can see in the left, and I use it a presentation from GNSS. Right now, we have a lot of Internet of the Things devices on our buses. But the main problem that we are having right now is that most of them are using different time stamps. Why? Because maybe some of them are using different servers. What that means? That, for example, the Wi-Fi has 1 hour that when we try to synchronize with the ticketing system is different. So when we try once again to synchronize with satellite services, it's different also. So what's the problem that we are having? Matching data with the Internet of the Things. Remember what I told you. What we really need to succeed as a mobile supplier is to trust the services that we are giving. As I told you before, one thing that it might be quite important in the future for the Galileo system and really nice utility is to synchronize all the services that we have on board, because the matching of the data that is coming from different systems is not going to be possible. We have been with a lot of problems related with this matter. Okay, another thing that I might tell you is that for me, the most important thing is the impact of urban mobility. And which one is the best functionality that Galileo might supply us? Which one might be the success of Galileo? The identification or the satellite signal. Why? Because right now, you know that low emission zones are coming. Urban road tolls is in the mind of our politicians. There is pollution that it has to be considered. And we have to have a trusted system that gives us the real information that can be anywhere be proved. I am going to tell you an example of the problem that we have with an app that we have in MT Valencia that is used with our inspectors just to find unauthorized cars in our bus line. As you can see, I don't know if you are in the screen, we have an app that takes photographs of the car that is not well parked in a bus line. And also what it gets is the GPS satellite American system position. What we did? All right, we went to court because Sonic, the citizen that went to court, said that it was not legal what we did and it was not trusted because anyone can hack the GPS satellite system. What we had to do is just, from that court decision, to take 3 photos from different angles, to make 3 photos once again after 2 minutes, and also our data has to be certificated against a security server just to put a timestamp. With Galileo, I think that that will be avoided. We don't, for sure, that we don't have no more problems on court. I think that it will be the success of the Galileo system, the identification of the satellite signal. And one thing that I should tell you, that is the next slide, that is the impact on the urban mobility, and something that is quite disturbing for me, to tell you the truth. Right now, all of us are talking about the next-gen European funds. But when you see the list of and the scope of the European funds projects that are going to be helped with these funds, we can see in the list that all of the things that we have talked before are on that list. But surprisingly, Galileo is not known in any of them. That's really a pity, because I'll tell you before, we can do all that you can see on the next-gen European funds and projects with Galileo. And that's the only way just to authorize, to authentify, and to make proof of the things that we want to do. But surprisingly, not Galileo mentioned or not used, or Galileo is sent by the government to be used. Okay, which one are the conclusions? As I told you before, that's the last point. Some conclusions. Availability. As a public transport operator, to tell you the truth, we are concerned right now if there is availability of this system or not. Continuity, exactly the same. Accuracy, yes, it's a good thing to be considered, but as a public transport operator, as I told you before, the information that we are giving is not a real online. It's just information that is 30 seconds old. That means that when you are thinking that a bus is just in a bus stop, maybe it's not. It's in the next one, because the data is delayed more or less 30 seconds. Okay, what is important for us? What is different from the rest of the Europe or the satellite system? What is the real added value for a public transport operator? The robustness and spoofing of that sign-on and the authentication. Okay, at the end of the white paper document, we can see something that it was important. It is said that only one operator asked for compatibility with Galileo. That's quite disturbing, and that makes that should make us think about it. And also, there is also a quite interesting mark that says that manufacturers offer customers the option to include only a cheaper single constellation receiver, not multi-constellation receiver. Maybe the chips right now is cheaper than before, but we should consider that the cheapest thing is just the hardware. The expensive thing of a fleet management system is just the software. So at least we find something different in Galileo, or with real added value, maybe we are not going to consider a change, because we are going on public tenders, and unfortunately, what we are looking is for the cheapest price on that tender. Okay, what I told you before, if we want to succeed with the European global position system, what we have to look is just for a different or real added value that is not in the American system or in another one. Okay, so that's all. Sorry, because I tried to do the presentation from a tablet and it was a complete disaster.
No, absolutely not. Thank you, Luis. You managed very well. Actually, I think we followed very appropriately your presentation.
That was a blind presentation, sorry.
You did excellent. Okay, it seems that Sergi finally could join us. Actually, he didn't notice that his computer or connection was crashed, so he was presenting for himself for 20 minutes. Sorry for that, Sergi.
Yeah, no, sorry about that. I feel really bad. It happened, I just didn't notice.
Okay, if you don't mind, we'll go now with the presentation from Clement, and later on you can go very, very quickly to some of your most important slides, okay? Mm-hmm. So Clement, if you are ready,
yes,
we will start with you.
So I didn't share you any presentation, any pictures of that. I just wanted to focus on what you I see thinking about the question of Galileo. and also how we can use it and how our members use it. So just briefly, UIC, the International Union of Railways, so our member are train operators for long and short distance. So we would like explain just in brief word so some different point of view and some also opposite way of thinking. Valencia and Barcelona explain something that we also used to. For example, we perfectly agree with the opinion of Valencia in terms of the satellization of the bus. For our case, this is for the train, and the speed doesn't allow us to be very precise and accurate on this aspect. That's very important for the safety and the security of the system. This is why actually we are working on the 5G system for a better telecommunication between two trains and also on the entire line. On the opposite way, Galileo is very useful for the, as you mentioned, for the urban mobility, like the slow mobility in some way. In few years ago, we developed a trial on different regions in North America and Russia mainly about developing some beacons for PRM assistance for people, for blind people, to passing through the station without any issue. The result was the beacon are not precise enough, and the better technology that they offer to the members is the Galileo system, a better, more precise mobility system, satellite system. So obviously we are not yet working on this further step, because the main issue that we have as operators is the continuity of this the satellization system that we all use. Even if we develop our own system, even if we are using satellization system Galileo and so on, we absolutely need to cooperate with the UITP, with local operators, because the priority for UIC and the members is the first mile and the last mile. And without this clear information, it's very difficult, because passengers are faced to information asymmetry. Then people need to have easy and clear access to the information to take the best decision. If we cannot give the precise date of the arrival of the train or the departure of the train or of the bus, it cannot work. So this is why we must be precise, and at some case, Galileo it's interesting, and on some other case, it's not. I will just explain you about another way to use Galileo. It's not addressed to passengers, but to the infrastructures. Barcelona explained that they use also Galileo for better location management and a better flow management, and we also use Galileo for developing a clear path for drone, for mobility drone. Because we carry out a project called Drone for Rail, and we would like use the drone for the facility management and operation and the control of the building, of the bridge mainly. But we had to define a clear path to use the same way to analyze and take pictures of this drone. And without Galileo system, it was impossible to do that. So for the slow mobility, Galileo is very useful, and for the very quick mobility and long distance, it's much more complicated and complex. I think, unfortunately, I'm not an expert on the satellization and so on, so I don't have more detail on this aspect. So I am open to a question if you had any.
If anyone has a question for Clement or Luis that we forgot, sorry for that, the round of questions. So you have any question for them?
Maybe I can give more example if you want. I have a very interesting solution. It's about the intermodality and the multimodality. as I told you, it's important to have to offer the best the best journey to passengers. And in Reims, in France, the SNCF company, so the French operator, had a big issue to connect the station, the tramway station, to the railway station. The path was not flat, not straight, but straight, and they have something like 400 meters. So the SNCF, the French electricity providers, asked to a private company called EasyMile to develop an autonomous vehicle. And for us, it's very important to offer this kind of services because the efficiency of the railway is nothing without the local and public transport actors. And they used to develop this system in Reims for 400 meters. But unfortunately, this kind of technology is not yet matures because you need a pilot just for security and safety reason. The big issue of this kind of technology, even if they are using Galileo, it's because the rest of this environment is not using the same system, because there is some pets cuts, there is some issue with people with luggage, there are issue with real vehicles, and because they are not on the same system, and even if in closed area it's work very well, but we have to understand that we are living on the real world and we must consider it all actors outside, mobility actors, but also people, and you cannot anticipate the expectation. I have in mind the first example of the first trial in the autonomous vehicle based in Las Vegas. It's worked super well, but an accident happened because one guy just hit the car and the system was not able to get ready for that. So if all the system for slow mobility in the urban area using Galileo, the entire same system, and can react, it's a wonderful first mile and last mile solution, definitively. If the operators are not using the same system, it can create big issue for the effectiveness of this kind of mobilities. Let me check if I have some interesting note also for you. No, and obviously Galileo must be adapted and work with Internet of Things, with the 5G, with all of also of this system, because the city, to be efficient for the local mobility, must be express opinion by data, and we must develop smart grid. We must develop some more beacons, more Wi-Fi systems to complete also, not to find an alternative system, but just to complete what Galileo can bring to the people, because there is some lack. And the biggest issue is how we can merge all of things into one big system.
Excellent. Let me ask you one question. Luis mentioned about the latency problem in communications, actually not in Galileo, but on how to communicate or bring this position information to the central system. And there was a gap of 20 seconds, which made it not useful for real-time operation. What is your experience in the rail sector? Are you working with lower latencies, or do you use it for signalization?
So I'm not working on this system, but I can give you a few words. We are working with FRMCS, which is a new system that we would like to develop on the 5G system with the European Union and Huawei, to have absolutely no latency on the train, because the train, the speed of the train is over 200, sometimes 220 km per hour. That's huge. And with the European Commission, they want to be more green and they want to put people more on the train, but the capacity of the train has the limits, and we would like also extend the capacity of the line. by reducing the distance of the train between us. So they must be very, very effective in terms of interconnection between us, but also in terms of information for the drivers. This is like what happened on the metro with the automatic lanes. The train can be very connected, very close to each other. But on the train and on the high-speed line, the question is about how we can reduce the distance between them in terms of 40 or 20 kilometers between the train. Technically, I cannot explain you because we are not officially developed this, put in place this technology, and it's quite new and sensitive information. For your project, maybe I can ask to my colleague from the rail system department to bring like a white paper or just a guide document to explain you how we would like develop the FRMCN system and the 5G for the telecommunication.
Very useful.
Okay.
We have a question from Luis.
Yeah, Marty, and to all of you, the real problem with Galileo is not Galileo, it's the rest of the inviting system. Which one of the problems is latency, as I told you before. A lot of data is coming from our bases, so we are sending it every 20 minutes. It can be from 0 to 30 minutes. But the real problem is just the maps that we are using. There is also some errors coming from the system, and that makes maybe the mistake of the data of being around 100, 200 meters. As I told you before, Galileo is perfect for some uses, but to tell you the truth, from another uses, maybe the accuracy that we are getting from another satellite system may be enough. That's the main issue. Just to Galileo to be a success, it has to be different or to have add values that other systems don't have. But as I told you before, accuracy right now for a bus that is moving, the error that we are having, maybe we are not getting better results with the accuracy of Galileo, because the main problem is the lag or the delays that are coming from another systems.
Understood, yeah. Is this the same experience, Diego, that you have at TMB? How often are you refreshing the position information from the bus?
Now it's Alberto taking the.
Yes, hi. Unfortunately, I not agree with Luis' presentation and what he intends to convey us. But the positive thing is that this is a webinar, so we can have a discuss about it. Okay. In the first place, Luis have shown some mathematical operations related to the error calculation in the bus movement, and that are not correct. Luis are taking into account that the error is accumulating in the movement on the bus, and this is not true. Okay, the error is measured at each point of the estimated provided by the receiver. Okay. By the other hand, Luis talked about the 30-second delay in the positions, and this is not true. We have actually a delay of 1 second for positions in the bus. So in our experience, that new technology and the use of the multi-constellation is very good for transport, for public transport. It's
not the issue. Okay, the accuracy of the Galileo is perfect, but it's a data that maybe can be from 0 seconds to 30 seconds old. That's the main issue that I have to tell you. Also, I have to tell you that there are different elements on the mobility. That one is the bus that is moving. Another one, the position of the bus stop. There are some issues that have to be considered that we are suffering right now, to tell you the truth. I'm going to give you an example. In the city of Valencia, we have El Corte Inglés, a big department store. The beginning of most of our lines in the center are really close to that department store. Okay, we are sending data from our buses every 20 seconds or when the bus is starting to move. From time to time, what we are seeing is that when we are giving the information in the Corte Inglés that the bus is in the first bus stop and the Corte Inglés is in the second, the bus is already in the Corte Inglés. There is a latency, to tell you the truth, because there are assumed of mistakes of different elements. And also, one important thing that you should consider is that the maps or the drawings that is using different, for example, municipality is using one kind of maps. Marketing is using another different maps. The fleet management system, it was dropped with another different map. When you when you sum the error of all of them, maybe you are getting a mistake that it has to be considered. It's not Galileo fault. It's the fault or the lack of the rest of the system that we are using. And I can show
if you allow me, yeah.
Yes, yes.
So let me kind of, it was nice to have this kind of discussion. Let me kind of conclude that it's not only about position information and Galileo, it's about all the system you have around, and especially communications latencies and cartography are very critical elements as well. So when working,
that's right.
You will confirm that? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have another question from Sergio.
Yeah. I'm sorry for, I don't know if we are delayed but I have a question from my ignorance. I work for EMT Madrid, the public transport operator, but I am not involved in the technology department. So I'm not really aware on how Galileo functions and all that. But I've been talking with my colleagues yesterday about this meeting and also about our position regarding Galileo use. And we do have, I mean, all our fleet has this dual positioning system, so we can use Galileo, but as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, we are not using it today because we do have, as well as EMT and I guess maybe as well as TMB, other, let's say, complementary positioning systems that help us to have an accurate idea on where our buses are, such as these positioning whenever opening the doors or arriving to a bus stop, etc., etc. I also don't know about the latency, but something that we or my colleague from Ignacio Uria from the technology department told me is that it would be good, for instance, we see quite a big potential of using Galileo for all the shared micro mobility services. And as we are also the managers of the e-bike sharing system of the city, Bicimat, for instance, this accurate positioning would be very interesting also for this bike sharing system. And as well as, and then, so that's from the mobility services. I don't know if there is any obstacle to use Galileo for the positioning of the e-bike sharing system. As I mentioned, I don't have any technical background in this, but I have another question, which is why all the, I don't know, European telecom companies, I mean, all the mobile companies don't use Galileo positioning system in Europe. And I guess we are using GPS, and I think that would be quite a push for the European navigation system if all the mobile devices, mobile phones in Europe would use this Galileo system. And it's just it's a question I have. I don't know if it's the forum to tell it or to launch it, but it's just a question that came to my mind.
Okay. I can take this one, and Sergi, maybe you can add after. So my understanding is that European Commission is kind of fostering the use of Galileo by regulation in some cases. So at least for eCall for cars, so any car that is sold in Europe today, new car, needs to be equipped with Galileo for the eCall system, the emergency system that would call emergency services in case of accident. The call would include the geolocation of the vehicle with Galileo. This is compulsory, so it makes that all OEMs need to equip their vehicles with Galileo. I guess at some point, and I'm not 100% sure, it has been into discussion that same would happen for emergency call from mobile phones, the E112. But this is not regulated yet. However, my understanding is that most of the new mobile phones, and speaking of a specific brands, for example, iPhones, the last 2 or 3 devices, versions, they include Galileo. So little by little, they are starting to introduce, not by regulation, but because they understand it's bringing additional accuracy for the mobile phone.
Marty,
I don't know if someone else can complement my answer.
Okay, Marty, there is something quite interesting for me, is that right now there is almost no promotion of the use of Galileo for the Spanish government. Right now, we are going to get a lot of funds from the next gen European funds. There are a lot of utilities on a lot of possible things that we can do related with micro-mobility, with low emission zones, with urban road tolls. And to tell you the truth, on those funds, there is no mention about Galileo. That for me is quite disturbing, to tell you the truth, because I told you, as I told you before, I see the possibilities of the real value and the added value of Galileo, but no one is promoting it right now. That's a strange thing for me.
I can only share your point. Actually, we are pending the last call of the call addressing public transport needs, and yeah, it seems to be focused on electrification, digitalization in general. Maybe a Galileo project would fit there, but yeah, we are missing a specific objectives on that issue. Yeah.
I would like to add something,
Clement.
Marty. We are talking about how the Galileo can help us to localitate whatever. I think Galileo can be also used for the geo-blocking. Actually, I'm living in Valencia, and I'm not using public transport because I can walk by myself in a very workable city. At some point, when I have to go away very far in the city, I use Diego, the kick scooter, free-floating scooter. And on the map, there is geo-blocking. I can park my scooter everywhere. I have some restriction, some limitation. And this is what Galileo should bring also for the train operator infrastructure managers, because you don't have the case in Spain or in Valencia, but in France, for example, or in other country, the free floating company, Uber, B or whatever, create some big issue for the flow management of the urban people. They can park the bicycle or the kick scooter, free, whatever, everywhere they want. So using Galileo for geo-blocking should be also a very good solution. And we don't need latency. We don't request big precision. The parameter from 0 to 5 meters, it's clearly enough. And this is something that the infrastructure manager, and I am managing a working group with 25 companies from all the region, looking for this kind of technology. and solution, because they can't manage that on their own. And this decision about geo-blocking is a policy, it's a local policy from the city. Obviously, they can create some restriction in their square, even if they are owning this square, but the cooperation between station manager and city municipality are very important. And could be also the same thing for the library, for the municipality of the square, of public square, of park, or whatever. So geo-blocking it's very important.
Yeah, good point.
Martin?
Okay, so we are, Diego, please.
Yes, I would like to clarify that we did not change our navigation system for Galileo. We had to renew our on-demand on-board equipment because it was old, and we took advantage of the news of the market that we found. Galileo did reckoning, multi-constellation, and this is the important. When we have to renew our systems, we have new opportunities and changes. And to Luis Roda, we have also the position refresh around 20 seconds. But this is not important for the accuracy because we also for some studies we record the data every second, and we have a very good results with the council to study the some streets and some lights, the change of the lights, the change of the traffic distribution, and we are having also a very good results in analyzing this data. And for the analyze this data is necessary some accuracy for make the studies. Okay, and we have a really a good profits. For the real time also, we have changing with other technologies that now permits to take the position real time. I don't know if you know MQTT technology and the brokers technologies, the AP and brokers technologies to stream the location, because GTFS real time from Google are demand these services. The users are demand these services like Cabify or Uber, that you take them the position of the bus in real time. That then it's necessary to change the technologies of these systems that have a big latency to the new technologies that permits take the position in real time and share this position in real time for the passengers and for the other companies that use this position in real time.
Diego, okay, that's not the real problem, to tell you the truth. Even with zero error or zero latency, look just behind you. Look just behind you. You have a map that is the net of Barcelona, just behind of you. It doesn't matter if the error is zero. When you are going to represent what is the bus, it has no sense to be perfect on that map, because as you can see it, is the problem of the big dot. If you put the position of the bus on the map that you have behind, the real user, it will have no good information.
I don't agree, because we have a real experiences, internal and external problems, that we have some avenues that have the central traffic and the border traffics, and we have a good results with this change. Not only Galileo, multi-constellation, the reckoning, and we have some problems in our control center, because this is the typical between you have in the border avenue or in the central avenue that is segregated. Is not only in the lane. And we have a good results and a good experience with real problems that are solved with this new modular location.
Okay, what I want to tell you right now, Galileo is just a tool in a toolbox, and it's a tool that is not unique. It has to be used with a lot of different systems.
Yes, we explain this. For us, the more important is the sensors and the multi-constellation.
Right, and for us, for the operator, the most important things are not the sensor, are just the users. I don't know you understand.
Yes. The focus is the user always. Yes, we start the presentation explain that for us the important is we improve our services for the users, and now the users values more the information that the service really is changing. This very because the capacity of the buses, the real time information about disturbances is for them. They are more valuing this than the service of transportation.
Yeah, but
it always is changing in this now.
What I really want to tell you is that Galileo is a really good service. We can do a lot of things with Galileo, but right now with the American GPS system, maybe for the user or maybe for the operator, is just enough relating with accuracy. What we have to find in Galileo is something different. Something that gives you
not only Galileo is important. We explain more changes, brokers, APs, network time protocols. All the system must uses the same network time protocol towards synchronize it for the big data uses. Yes, it's really because now today we are speaking about the benefits of Galileo, but there are a lot of technologies, 5G when it arrives, okay? But
okay, Luis, thank you for the lively discussion. It was very nice to hear you with different perspectives and experiences with Galileo. Unfortunately, we ran out of time. I was expecting Sergi to take again the floor to give at least some hints on the work that is being done in Madrid that we received inputs.
If I may, also before Clement and other people leave, we're going to update the recording of this session on our project's website, ariadnaproject.eu, and I'm also going to record my presentation and upload it there because you missed it, so that you have it there. Before also Sergio Fernandez from ENT Madrid leaves, I was actually going to show one slide with some of the insights they sent us, which are complementary to what Sergio said. So Sergio, if you allow me, I can quickly share the insights that your colleague Ignacio sent us.
Yep, go ahead.
All right, and maybe it can also be prior to the wrap up of the session. It won't take long. Going to share my screen. Hope we won't have connection issues this time. Okay, so some of the feedback we received additional feedback we received from ENT Madrid. They said some of the uses for which Galileo will have an impact are far ahead. For example, there are applications in autonomous driving. Before, infrastructure and legislation must evolve. Also said, as of today, the biggest bug is the need to integrate. Standards such as CDSM and MDS could help. The information of the different operators, including micromobility. Integrate the information of different operators, both in a mobility as a service platform and a platform which local authorities can supervise in order to ensure that mobility providers are in compliance with mobility ordinances. They also add both ecosystems, this MAS platform and this platform which local authorities can access, are important and still barely evolved. If public authorities are not in it, they will hardly realize the need for greater precision through Galileo. And I must say that this is something we've been finding in our research and interviews, is that for some cities, it sounds maybe too technical and too far away to talk to them about geopositioning. So I completely agree with this point. They also say mobile devices must also evolve, and Sergio, you said that in your intervention, actually, because many functionalities are delegated to the apps within them. For example, take automatic payment by detecting the passenger inside the bus. And I couldn't hear what Martí answered because, again, I had connection issues, but many of the smartphones available today are Galileo enabled. So the more users that they are owning these Galileo enabled smartphones, the better that the data that these apps use, geolocation data, will be, and the more applications you'll be able to develop. And they also add pedestrians are also part of the mobility ecosystem, and probably the piece that should be reinforced the most when thinking of sustainable cities. And lastly, to summarize, the paper shows many realities that are yet to come, but that will not be immediate enough to urge the operators in the short term, but rather in the mid-long term. And it's also something we've been seeing, and actually we've been debating today, how much of a value it brings to operators, bus operators and their operations. That's what I wanted to share.
Exactly. Thank you, Sergi. So let me go very quickly to the wrap-up, just to remind you that the presentations, I guess, and the video recording of this session and Sergi's presentation additionally will be available on the website. So quick wrap-up, we realized that Galileo is bringing different values, not only for bus operations, but also for other urban mobility actors involved, like micromobility, and very recently we learned about both from UIC and EMT the importance on users and the quality of information they want to get is becoming increasingly important. We should not look only to accuracy. There are some other issues involved. Luis gave us good examples on how the authentication of the signal, so being certain that the satellite signal is trustable, makes additional use cases possible. And then, which Galileo is not a standalone technology, it needs to be combined with cartography, with telecommunications to provide final applications. And this is something to take in account, not to address this problematic isolated from the whole system. I would say these are the main points that were discussed. Unfortunately, we don't have more time. We missed part of Sergi's presentation, but you have the white paper available. We'll have the recording also available. And hope along Ariadna we'll have future chances to meet again and discuss on how to move forward. So I would like to thank UITP for the organization, all the speakers for your active involvement and the participation in the discussion, Sergi, despite the issues you had. And thank you all, and well, see you next time. I hope it was useful. Good morning to everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.